The fluorescent lights in the doctor's office buzzed like angry hornets as Dr. Ramirez slid the scan across the desk, her face a mask of practiced empathy. It's stage 2 lymphoma, Ethan. Treatable, but we'll need to start chemo right away. My phone vibrated in my pocket, Alex's face lighting up the screen with a heart emoji, but I couldn't answer, because in that split second, the world I'd built with him over 3 years cracked like cheap glass under my feet. I stumbled out into the rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn, the diagnosis burning a hole in my chest, and dialed him from the corner payphone because my hands shook too hard to trust my cell. "Alex, it's cancer," I choked out when he picked up, the words tasting like rust. His pause stretched into eternity. Then came the blade. "Go focus on your recovery, Ethan. I can't do this right now." That was it. The end of us, delivered over a crackling line while cabs honked and puddles splashed like accusations. I stood there, soaked to the bone, wondering how the man who'd promised forever could vanish so cleanly, leaving me to face the storm alone. Looking back, it feels like a lifetime ago. That gray October afternoon in 2023 when the universe decided to test if our love was waterproof. But to understand why his words gutted me like a fish on a dock, you have to rewind to how we even got here. 2 kids from opposite coasts, crashing into each other like waves on a Jersey shore. I grew up in a sleepy suburb outside Seattle, the kind where rain is your best friend and everyone knows your business before you do. My folks were the picture of middle-class normalcy. Dad a high school history teacher with a mustache that screamed 80s cop show. Mom a librarian who quoted poetry at dinner. They loved me fierce, but when I came out at 16, it was like dropping a stone in a still pond, ripples, but no tsunami. "You're our Ethan," Dad said, clapping my shoulder a little too hard. "Gay, straight, doesn't change that." Mom baked cookies shaped like rainbows for a week after. Solid, unflashy support. That's Washington for you, progressive without the fireworks. College dragged me east to NYU, chasing a degree in graphic design because I could lose hours sketching logos that popped like fireworks. New York hit me like a freight train. The subway's metallic screech, the endless parade of faces from every corner of the globe, the way the skyline pierced the clouds like it dared you to dream bigger. I was 19, wide-eyed, crashing on a futon in a Williamsburg loft with 3 roommates who rotated like a bad Tinder swipe. Freedom tasted like street falafel at 2 a.m., but loneliness gnawed at the edges. I'd hook up on apps, quick, anonymous sparks that fizzled by morning, but nothing stuck. Until Alex. We met at a queer art crawl in Bushwick, one of those warehouse parties where the walls bleed paint and the air hums with bass. I was nursing a cheap IPA, critiquing a neon sculpture that looked like a gay pride flag had a fever dream, when he sidled up. Tall, with that effortless California surfer build. Sun-bleached hair curling at the nape, hazel eyes that crinkled like he was always in on a joke. He wore a faded Ramones tee and jeans ripped just enough to say, "I care, but not too much." "That's bullshit abstract," he said, nodding at the sculpture. His voice a lazy drawl that wrapped around me like smoke. "Reminds me of my ex's tattoo. Pretty, but means jack." I laughed, spilling beer on my sneakers. "Ethan," I said, sticking out a hand sticky with condensation. "And you are Alex Rivera, film major at Tisch. Here to steal ideas for my thesis doc on underground queer scenes." His grip was firm, thumb brushing my knuckle in a way that sent static up my arm. We talked for hours, him dissecting the art like a director's cut, me sketching quick caricatures on napkins of the crowd. By midnight, we'd wandered out to a stoop, sharing a joint under the sodium glow of street lamps, and he kissed me like it was the most natural plot twist in the world. Soft at first, then hungry, his hands framing my face as if I were the only frame that mattered. That night blurred into a montage of firsts. Stolen weekends in his cramped dorm off Washington Square, where we'd binge Criterion Collection films until dawn. His head on my lap as I ran fingers through his hair. He was 21, a year ahead, with dreams of Sundance and a laugh that could disarm a room. I fell hard, the kind of love that sneaks up and floors you. "You're my anchor, E," he'd murmur against my neck after, like I was the steady thing in his chaotic orbit. Our first year was a whirlwind of New York magic. The High Line at dusk, picnics in Central Park where he'd pack tamales from his abuela's recipe, pride marches where we'd lose each other in the crowd only to find our way back, sweat slick and grinning. He filmed shorts about immigrant stories, his lens capturing the grit and glory of the city, and I'd design the posters, our worlds overlapping like a perfect edit. But beneath the romance, cracks whispered. Alex's family back in LA was old-school Mexican-American. Dad a mechanic with calloused hands and quiet pride. Mom a nurse who sent care packages of homemade salsa. They adored him but tiptoed around his sexuality like it was fine china. Supportive in theory, strained in calls home. Mijo, just, be safe, she'd say, voice tight. He brushed it off, but I saw the shadow in his eyes. By our second year, we'd shacked up in a one-bedroom in Greenpoint, the kind with exposed brick and a fire escape that doubled as our smoking lounge. Rent ate half our paychecks. Me freelancing logos for startups, him bartending at a dive in the East Village. But we made it work with ramen hacks and thrift store furniture. That's when the depth settled in, the kind that turns infatuation to foundation. We'd argue over dumb shit, like whose turn it was to scrub the tub, but make up with slow dances to Bon Iver in the kitchen. His chin on my shoulder as rain pattered the window. 3 more years like this, and we'll buy a place upstate, he'd say, tracing patterns on my back. You, me, a dog named Indy. I'd believe him because in those moments, his hazel eyes held the future like a promise. But life in the apple isn't all sonnets. It's got teeth. Alex's thesis film tanked at a festival. Critics called it earnest but uneven, and he spiraled, pounding IPAs until the edges blurred. I'd find him staring at the ceiling, whispering, "What if I'm not enough?" I'd pull him close, remind him he was my everything, and we'd rebuild. My own gigs dried up during a recession dip, forcing me to sling coffee at a midtown cafe, but his encouragements, "Your sketches are gold, babe," kept the spark alive. We were young, scrappy, unbreakable, or so I thought. The third year dawned with promise. We'd celebrated our anniversary at Coney Island, riding the cyclone until our stomachs flipped, then crashing on the sand with a bottle of mezcal as the sun dipped into the Atlantic. To us, he toasted, clinking his plastic cup to mine, the waves crashing like applause. Work picked up for both. I landed a contract designing album art for an indie label. He scored an assistant gig on a Netflix pilot shooting in the Bronx. Nights blurred into a rhythm. Him editing footage on the couch, me at the drafting table, stealing kisses between deadlines. Then came the cough. At first, it was nothing. A tickle from the autumn chill, I joke, blaming the subway's recycled air. But it lingered, turning nights into hacks that left me wheezing. Alex noticed first, brow furrowing over breakfast. You okay, E? Sounds rough. I waved it off, allergies. But booked a doc visit when it persisted, chalking it up to stress. The appointment was routine blood work, a chest x-ray. Just a precaution, the NP said. 2 weeks later, that office. Dr. Ramirez. The scan. The word, lymphoma. Hodgkin's, she clarified, the treatable kind, but still, a thief in my lymph nodes, stage 2, aggressive enough to demand action. Chemo, radiation, the works. Success rate high, she assured, but the room spun anyway. I texted Alex from the elevator. Bad news. Call me? No reply. He was on set, I figured. Phone silenced. I wandered the blocks to our apartment. The city a blur of yellow cabs and steaming vents. Greenpoint welcomed me with its usual charm. Craft breweries spilling laughter, hipsters on fixies. But it all felt alien. Like I'd been recast in someone else's life. Keys jangled in the lock, and there he was. Sprawled on the couch in sweats, scrolling TikTok, a half-eaten pizza slice dangling from his hand. Hey babe, he said, glancing up with that easy smile. It faltered when he saw my face. What happened? I collapsed beside him, the words tumbling out in a rush. The cough, the scan, lymphoma, chemo. His arm came around me automatic, pulling me in, but his body tensed like a wire. Shit, Ethan. That's heavy. We sat there, the pizza cooling, my head on his chest listening to his heart thunder. We'll fight it, he murmured, kissing my temple. Together. But doubt flickered in his eyes, a shadow I pretended not to see. That night, he held me close, our lovemaking gentle, almost reverent, as if mapping me before I changed. Sleep came fitful, dreams of dissolving into fog. The next morning, reality crashed in. I woke to him pacing the kitchen, phone pressed to his ear. "Yeah, Ma, it's serious." "Yeah, I know." He hung up, spotting me in the doorway. "Family's worried. Sending prayers." His voice was steady, but his hands fidgeted with a coffee mug, cracking the ceramic rim. We dove into logistics. Appointments at Sloan Kettering, insurance wrangling, a bald cap joke that fell flat. Alex was there, driving me to consults, jotting notes on side effects, even researching wigs online with a grin. Blonde streak? Go full Loki. Moments of normalcy pierced the fear. Movie nights with ginger ale instead of beer. His foot hooked over mine under the blanket. But the undercurrent pulled. His shifts at the bar stretched longer, covering for a sick buddy. He'd say, coming home reeking of tequila and regret. Texts went unanswered during the day. Our fire escape chats dwindled to silences broken only by traffic hum. I chalked it up to overwhelm. Cancer's a bomb, after all, shrapnel for everyone. "You sure you're good?" I'd ask, tracing his jaw. "Yay, just processing." A kiss. Then he'd roll away, back to me but miles distant. The first chemo round hit like a truck. Nausea that painted the bathroom tiles. Hair shedding like autumn leaves in the shower drain. Alex was there, holding my hand through the foredrip, cracking jokes about superheroes losing their powers. Bald Hulk incoming. But as the weeks blurred, his presence thinned. Missed pickups from treatment. Set ran late. Excuses piling like unwashed dishes. One night, post-infusion fog, I scrolled his phone while he showered. Paranoid, guilty, desperate for reassurance. Texts from Javier. Late nights. "Can't wait to see you again." Hearts and fire emojis. My stomach dropped harder than the nausea. Javier, the PA on his Netflix gig, all dimples and dark curls from the holiday party pics. Confrontation brewed that weekend. He came home late, eyes bloodshot, collapsing onto the bed without a word. "Alex," I said, voice steel despite the ache. "Who's Javier?" His face shuddered. A director slamming a clapperboard. "A friend. Work stuff. Bullshit." I saw the messages. The dam broke. Hurt spilling in accusations, his defenses rising like walls. "It's nothing, Stress. This whole thing's fucking with my head." "My cancer's fucking with your head?" The words lashed out, raw. We yelled until hoarse, the apartment echoing our fractures. He stormed out, slamming the door, leaving me curled on the floor, chemo weak and heartbroken. Days passed in radio silence. Friends rallied. My roommate from freshman year, Mia, brought soup and queer rom-coms. Mom flew in from Seattle, her hugs a lifeline of lavender and logic. "He's scared, honey. Doesn't make it right." But fear doesn't forgive betrayal. It festers. He returned on a Tuesday, duffel in hand, face carved from regret. "I can't, Ethan. Not like this." Sitting on the edge of the bed, voice cracking. "Seeing you hurt. It breaks me. I need space to, I don't know, breathe. Go focus on your recovery. Please." The words landed like the hook, cold and final. No fight, no please. Just a nod, because what fight was left in me? He left his key on the counter. A tinny clink in the quiet, and was gone. Door shut, world smaller. Grief hit in waves, crashing over the chemotides. Alone in my apartment, I traced the indent his body left on the mattress, replaying 3 years like a scratched reel. The Bushwick kiss, Coney Island sunsets, whispered Indy's name. Betrayal stung deepest. Not the fling, but the abandonment. The man who'd vowed anchors now adrift. Treatment ground on. A brutal rhythm of poisons and promises. Hair gone, weight shed, mirrors avoided. But humanity crept in. Mia moved back in temporarily, turning our space into a fort of face masks and Frida Kahlo prints. A support group at the hospital linked me with guys like Marco, a drag queen with stage 3 and sass for days. "Honey, cancer's a bitch?" But you're the queen. Laughter amid the IVs, stories swapped like contraband hope. Mom stayed a month, cooking pozole that warmed more than my bones. Her poetry readings a bomb. The wound is the place where the light enters, she'd quote Rumi, squeezing my hand. Dad video called daily, mustache twitching with dad jokes. Knock knock. Who's there? Chemo. Chemo who? Chemotherapy, kiddo. You got this. Their love, unyielding, stitched me where Alex had torn. Months in, scans showed shrinkage, the thief retreating. But the real healing, that bloomed in unexpected soil. I started journaling designs, cancer warrior graphics, bold lines of survival, and pitched them to the label. They bit, turning my pain into purpose. Walks along the East River became rituals, skyline a reminder. Cities rebuild, so can I. Alex surfaced sporadically. Texts like ghosts. How's treatment? Thinking of you. I'd reply polite, distant. The hurt a scar I wouldn't pick. Rumors filtered through mutuals. He wrapped the pilot, hold up editing, Javier a footnote. Part of me hoped he'd shatter, realized the gem he'd tossed. Spring thawed Brooklyn, cherry blossoms dusting the streets like confetti. My final round loomed, a finish line smeared with sweat. That's when he showed. Unannounced on the fire escape at dusk, nursing a coffee like an old habit. Leaner, shadows under his eyes, that Ramon's tea hanging loose. Ethan. My name a question, a plea. I leaned against the railing, arms crossed, the city humming below. Heard you're kicking ass. Reports of my death exaggerated. I quipped, voice steadier than I felt. Silence stretched, Atlantic to Pacific. I'm sorry, he burst, words tumbling. I panicked. You were fighting this monster and I ran. Javier was easy, mindless. But you're etched in me, every frame, every laugh. I fucked up because I couldn't face losing you. Tears pricked, but I held ground. You did lose me, Alex. Not to cancer, to your fear. I needed you, not some escape hatch. He nodded, crumbling. I know. Therapy now, unpack the family shit, the pressure. Filming a doc on queer resilience inspired by you. Pause, hazel eyes pleading. Can we try? Slow? I'm all in if you'll have me. The hook's echo lingered. Go focus on your recovery. But time had sanded its edge. Love isn't a straight cut. It's edits, reshoots, forgiveness doled like medicine. One step, I said finally, extending a hand. No running. His grip warmed familiar, thumb brushing my knuckle. Static reignited. We talked till stars pricked the sky, rebuilding blueprints over coffee steam. Not the fairy tale, but real, flawed, fierce, American as apple pie with a twist. Remission came that summer, scans clean as a fresh script. Alex moved back piecemeal. A toothbrush, a script stack, his laugh filling corners. We adopted Indy. A scruffy mutt from the shelter with eyes like his, and weekends upstate materialized. A cabin rental where we'd hike trails hand in hand. Leaves crunching underfoot. Betrayal's scar? It fades but doesn't vanish. A reminder. Love demands courage, not just sparks. In the end, we emerged human, scarred, stronger, scripting our sequel. New York pulsed on, indifferent witness, but in our story, the light one. Looking back, that fire escape reconciliation wasn't the climax. It was the intermission, a breath before the real storm. We'd patched the leaks, but foundations shift under pressure. And ours? Honeycombed with unspoken fears. Alex dove into his therapy like a method actor, sessions spilling into late-night confessions. The weight of his parents' expectations, the immigrant grind etched in his bones. Be the success story, Mijo, or you're nothing. I'd listen, stroking his hair, whispering, you're enough. But doubt whispered back. Was this growth, or just guilt's costume? Fall crept in with its crisp bite, my port scar itching under sweaters as I ramped up freelance work. The label gig exploded. My cancer motifs caught fire on socials. Queer influencers repping bald eagles with rainbow wings. Warrior aesthetic, they called it. Bookings flooding my inbox. Alex's doc screened at a small fest in Tribeca. Whispers of buzz turning his haunted eyes bright again. This is us, raw, real. Premiere night, we dressed sharp, me in a velvet blazer I'd sketched myself. Him in slacks that hugged his thighs, and held hands through Q&A, his thumb a steady Morse. I love you. But paradise has serpents. Javier resurfaced via a mutual post. A beach selfie, all golden hour glow, tagged from LA. Alex stiffened, scrolling it over breakfast. Ancient history, he muttered, but the air thickened. That night, argument flared over nothing. A forgotten dry cleaning run, and escalated. You think I'm still pining? After everything. His voice cracked, mine sharpened. Prove it, then. No ghosts. He did, mostly, deleting contacts, blocking feeds, but trusts a fragile bulb, easily bruised. Holidays loomed. A gauntlet. Thanksgiving at my folks in Seattle. Mom's turkey masterpiece. Dad's corny toasts. Alex charming them with film anecdotes. Tell us about Ethan on set. Mom prodded, eyes twinkling. He spun tales of my creative chaos. And under the table, his knee pressed mine solid. But on the flight back, he stared out the window, silent. Your family's so open, he said finally. Mine's Thanksgiving via Zoom. Polite, but coded. How's the girlfriend? Jokes that aren't. I squeezed his hand. We'll make our own traditions. Hanukkah/Christmas mashup in our apartment. Lax from Mia's recipe, tamales from his. Indy decked in a bow tie. Laughter echoed. Lights twinkling like promises kept. New Year's dawned with champagne toasts on the rooftop. City fireworks exploding like defiant stars. To year 4, he said, pulling me close, lips tasting of fizz and forever. But January bit hard. My 6-month checkup loomed. A shadow checkers game with fate. Clean, the doc confirmed, but maintenance scans every 3 months. A lifelong leash. You're in the club now, she said gently. Survivorship. Alex threw a low-key bash. Friends crammed our space. Balloons scrawled fuck cancer. Marco toasting with drag flare. To Ethan, slaying dragons bald and bold. Joy bubbled. But midway, Alex vanished to the balcony, phone in hand. I found him arguing hushed. His mom, voice tinny through the speaker. Mijo, that film is too much. What will people say? He hung up, face storm-clouded. She saw the trailer, freaked about the queer angle. Boundaries, babe, I said, wrapping arms around him. You can't carry their script. He nodded, but the fracture lines deepened. February brought Valentine's, our ritual. No flowers, just a scavenger hunt of inside jokes. Notes hidden in his script margins. A mixtape of songs from our first year. Mine led to the High Line, dusk painting the tracks gold. He waited at our bench, a thermos of hot cocoa steaming. Remember? He grinned, pulling out a napkin sketch from that art crawl. My caricature of him, cocky grin immortalized. Always. We walked rails, turned promenade. Hands swinging, city lights winking below. At the end, he dropped to one knee. Not proposal, but a vow. A silver bracelet engraved anchor, clasped around my wrist. No running, he echoed our pact. Tears blurred the skyline. I kissed him fierce, tasting salt and steel. But March cracked the facade. His doc got picked up for distribution, indie darling status, interviews piling. Buzz meant scrutiny. A podcaster grilled him on personal inspirations, prying into the partner's illness. Alex dodged smooth, private matters, but came home rattled, pacing. They want the tragedy porn, our pain for clicks. Then own it? I pushed, from the couch where I'd been tweaking a logo. It's your story. Queer, resilient, messy. He whirled. Easy for you to say. You're not the one fielding calls from Abuela, whispering, it's just a phase. The fight ignited, old embers flaring. I'm the one who got ditched mid-chemo. I shouted, bracelet heavy as lead. Silence crashed, his face ashen. I said sorry, 1,000 times. He grabbed his jacket, door slamming echo. He crashed at a buddy's, 3 days of texts. Space. Processing. I hurled the bracelet at the wall, denting plaster, then sobbed into Indy's fur. Mia found me there, force-fed tea. He's projecting, Doesn't make your hurt less valid. Calls to mom. Breathe through it, love. Storms pass. He returned conciliatory. Groceries, apologies. A script rewrite centering unbreakable bonds. We therapied together now. A couples counselor named Lena with wire rims and zero bullshit. Betrayal's echo, she said. It lingers until named. Sessions unearthed his abandonment script. Dad's long hours, mom's silent resentments, and my survivor's guilt. What if loving me dooms him? Progress in fits. Date nights enforced. No phones dinners where we'd play. Would you rather absurd? Like zombie apocalypse or eternal rain? Laughter rebuilt bridges. Spring bloom tentative. Cherry trees a pink apology. But climax brewed in summer heat. Alex's doc premiered at Outfest LA calling, his roots tugging. Come with, he begged, Hazel pleading. Work chained me. A deadline crunch, but I bent, boarding the red eye. LAX hit like a culture shock. Palm sway, sprawl endless. His childhood home a stucco bungalow in Echo Park. His folks greeted warm. Hugs, empanadas steaming, but undercurrents swirled. Dinner. Dad's grill mastery, mom's sidelong glances at our linked hands. The film's doing well, eh? Dad boomed, avoiding eyes. Post-meal, Alex pulled me aside. Told them about us. Fully. Pride swelled, but his jaw ticked. Ma's praying extra rosaries. The fest was electric, screening packed. Applause thundering as credits rolled. My face blurred in the dedication. For E, my light in the dark. Q&A, he shone, voice steady. This is about love's grit, queer love, surviving storms. Backstage, Javier lurked. Congrats hug too lingering, Alex stiffening. I bit tongue, but seed planted. After party at a WeHo bar, rainbows pulsing. Shots flowed, egos inflated. Alex held court, but I slipped out for air. Balcony overlooking the basin's glitter. Footsteps. Javier, slurring charm. He's lucky, you know, but if he fucks up again. Hand on my arm, insistent. Alex burst through, yanking him back. Back off, man. Fists clenched, voices rising. Security waiting in. Fest dreams souring. Hotel room. Storm raging. You let him, Alex accused. Flirted back. Jealousy's your ghost. Not mine, I fired. Luggage packed by dawn. I flew solo, LA a bitter souvenir. Brooklyn welcomed cool, but heart scorched. No calls. Radio silence a week. Mia staged intervention. Write the unsaid. Journal filled rage, fear, love's stubborn root. Then, his knock. Midnight, rain lashed, eyes wild. I almost lost everything, he gasped, dripping on the mat. Javier's poison, old habit, weak moment. But you're the real I can't cut. Collapse into sobs. My arms folding around despite the burn. Therapy solo now, I stipulated. Earn it. He did, months of grinding, boundaries ironclad. Fall leaves turned, our third anniversary post-diagnosis. Coney Island redux, cyclone spins till dizzy. To anchors, he toasted mezcal. Bracelet reclaimed on his wrist now too. Healing's no montage. It's dailies, rough cuts refined. We humanized, flaws forgiven, not forgotten. Crafting a love American tough. Diverse, defiant, deeply felt. By winter's grip, we'd settled into a cautious rhythm. The kind where trust rebuilds brick by wary brick. Alex's doc streamed on a niche platform. Royalties trickling like hesitant rain. Enough for a down payment dream deferred. He picked up steady PA work on indies, the set life suiting his restless energy, while I launched a side hustle, online shop for survivor merch, teas emblazoned remission rebel selling to a tribe I never knew I needed. Mornings. Coffee black for him, oat milk latte for me, indie begging scraps under table. Evenings. Couch collusions, his head in lap as I sketched, fingers combing sun-bleached strands. But peace is fragile as fresh snow, and cracks spiderweb subtle. His phone buzzed more, agent calls, networking drinks that stretched to last call. Building the career, he'd justify, pecking my cheek goodbye. I'd nod. But the apartment echoed emptier, ghosts of his absences whispering doubts. One night, post-rap party. He stumbled in at 3 a.m., lipstick smudge faint on collar mascara, he swore, from a hug-happy producer. Swear eyes locked, lie thin as the fabric. Lena called it relapse patterns in session. Trusts earned daily, she urged. Homework, weekly check-ins, no judgment journals swapped. His pages raw. Fear you'll see the fuck up I am. Mine. Scared you'll bolt when life bites again. Vulnerability bonded us tighter, but external tempests loomed. Spring 2025 brought my one-year remission mark. A milestone tattooed literal. A small infinity loop on ribcage. Alex's hand steady with the needle at the shop. Forever, he murmured, lips to ink-fresh skin. Celebration. Rooftop bash with the crew. Mia DJing queer anthems. Marco voguing in sequins. Toasts clinked. To Ethan, unbreakable. Alex's speech slurred sentimental. My hero, every day. Pulling laughs and ahs. But midway, his agent cornered me. Big opportunity for him. Pilot in Atlanta, 6-month shoot. Thinks you're on board. Ice water in veins. Atlanta, 6 months? I cornered him later, party fizzled. You were gonna spring this? Voice pitched hurt. He deflated. Audition callback. Huge E-network TV queer lead. We could relocate after. After what? My roots here, my gigs, our life. Arguments snowballed. Ambition versus stability, dreams versus the daily. I'm not tethering you, I yelled. But don't clip my wings either. Door slams redux. He couch surfed 2 nights, indie whining at the divide. Reconciliation over diner eggs at dawn. Trial run, he proposed. I go, we FaceTime daily, you visit weekends. Compromise bitter, but swallowed. Love's concessions. American hustle's toll. He jetted south Memorial Day, our goodbye kiss at JFK tasting of jet fuel and jeopardy. Distance stretched like taffy, sweet then snapping. Texts constant. Miss your laugh. Sets chaos. Calls synced to Eastern time. His face pixelated but present. Recounting Atlanta quirks. Peach stands, drawls thick as humidity. I thrived soloish. Shop boomed. Collab with a queer wellness brand. Mia and I road-tripping Poconos for me time. But voids gaped. Bed too wide. Fire escape lonely sands his smoke rings. Mid-shoot, red flags fluttered. Late-night calls dodged. Rehearsal ran over. Social snaps. Him arm-in-arm with co-stars. Captions coy. Paranoia or pattern. Journal entry. History rhymes. Don't let it verse. Then the gut punch. Marco visiting set. Texts a heads up. Babe, your boy's cozy with the grip guy. Subtle but eyes don't lie. Call stormed in post-rehearsal. Who's Riley? Silence deafening. Then deflection. Crew. Buddy. Lie crumbled under press, saw the Insta story. Alex. Thumbs up on his abs pic. Explosion. Accusations flying, his guilt lashing back. You're smothering from 800 miles. I need air. Click. Dead air. Days blurred vengeful. Blocked numbers. Deleted pics. Indie my sole confidant in walks where I'd rant to the wind. Friends rallied. Mia's wine-fueled vents. Mom's transatlantic wisdom. Grieve the illusion. Keep the truth. Work anchor. A TEDx invite on queer survivorship. Script pouring pain into power. He flew north uninvited. Week 4. Landing on my doorstep with wilted peonies and hollow eyes. I sabotaged us. Collapse on the stoop. Story spilling. Riley a rebound flicker. Loneliness amplified by distance. Old fears amplified. Therapy on set, but I caved. Again. Sobs racked him. My resolve cracking despite fury. Inside, tissues and truths. This is the last fracture, Alex. Love me whole or not at all. He nodded, broken. Whole. Promise. Atlanta wrapped early. His choice, citing personal. Back by July, duffel light, heart heavy. Rebuild phase 3. No sets together rule, focus inward. He waitressed local, I mentored at a youth art center. Gay kids sketching dreams, mirrors of our start. Couples intensives with Lena. Role plays dissecting flight responses. Empathy maps charting hurts. Progress tangible. His parents visited. Awkward but earnest. Mom's hand tentative on mine. You make him happy, Ethan. Fall foliage framed tentative joys. Upstate cabin booked. Indie romping fields. Us hiking handholds. Leaves crunching confessions. Scared I'll break us, he admitted by campfire. Then we mend, I replied, marshmallows toasting like hopes. But true climax crested Thanksgiving. His folks hosting LA. Full immersion. Flight anxiety mutual, but we landed braced. Echo Park bungalow bustled. Cousins chaotic, turkey spiced fierce. Dinner prayers skirted us, but Dad's toast landed gentle. To family, blood and chosen. Post-feast, Abuela cornered Alex in the kitchen. Rosary clicking. This life, it hurts you. His voice steady. It heals me, Nana. Ethan's my heart. Tears her eyes, mine too, breakthrough, walls tumbling. Back in New York, Buzz hummed. My TEDx clip viral, invites pouring. His agent pitching Survivor Stories series. Us co-creators. Synchronicity sparked. Winter solstice, 3rd anniversary proper. Ice skating at Bryant Park. Mittened hands, city aglow. Under tree lights, he knelt again. This time ring-boxed. Simple band, tungsten-etched light. Marry the mess, build forever, flaws and all. Knees buckled, yes bursting. Cheers erupted. Skaters unwitting witnesses. As we kissed, salt sweet, skyline saluting. Betrayal's ghosts, exorcised not, but leashed, reminders to cherish, not chain. Human arc. We rose, scarred sailors navigating love's tempests. American dream queered and claimed. Wedding whispers wove through spring's thaw. A tapestry of to-dos laced with trepidation. Not the white tie extravaganza, us against ostentation, but intimate Brooklyn backyard affair, 50 souls strong. Venue hunt. Loft in Dumbo. Exposed beams and harbor views. My sketches envisioning fairy lights and wildflowers. Guest list debates. Javier blacklisted. Riley a non-entity. But his cousins? Bridge building. Alex insisted, Hazel hopeful. I relented, humanism trumping grudge. Prep unearthed landmines. My suit fittings triggered anxiety. Mirrors mocking frailty's echo. Alex soothing with tailor-tucked kisses. Gorgeous, always. His vows drafting stalled. Pages crumpled. Can't capture it. Lena prodded. Feel it. Don't force. Meanwhile, family dynamics simmered. My folks all in. Rainbow boutonnieres ordered. His tepid RSVPs. Mom's calls lace concern. Mijo, sure about this? May rehearsal dinner. Greenpoint Tavern, toasts teary. Dad's speech. Ethan's light brighter for love found. Alex's uncle. Beer loose. Proud, nephew. Times change. Hope flickered. June dawn. Wedding day. Sky cerulean. Air humming promise. Loft transformed. My designs alive. Murals of intertwined anchors. Tables groaning farm to table. Indie ring bearer. Bowtie askew. Stealing hearts. I paced green room. Nerves electric. Mia zipping me into slim fit navy. Lapel poppy red. Slay king. She winked. Pinning boutonniere. Ceremony under pergola. Harbor breeze benediction. Alex at altar. Slacks charcoal. Eyes locked as I walked aisle to Fleetwood Mac's landslide. Mom dabbing tears. Officiant. Queer elder from my support group. Intoned. Love's not absence of storm, but dance within. Vows exchanged. Row-rhymed mine. You taught me anchors sink or sail together. His voice cracking. I faltered, but your grace rebuilt me. Forever, my light. Rings slid. Matching tungsten. Infinity etched. Kiss sealed amid cheers. Salt air mingling sweat and joy. Reception pulsed. Marco's playlist thumping. First dance to Wonderwall twisted queer. His chin on my shoulder. Whispers lost in melody. But undercurrents churned. His mom pulled him aside mid-toast. Words hushed urgent. I caught fragments. Sin. Think of the family. Face ashen, he returned, forcing smiles. Night waned. Cake cut, red velvet, rainbow layers, but tension clung like humidity. Honeymoon beckoned, 2 weeks Amalfi, cliffs crashing sea, but first reception close. Uncle's faux pas, slurred toast. To Alex finding a nice girl. Kidding, laughter forced, air thick. Later, bathroom huddle. It's generational give time. I swallowed sharp, dancing on. Fireworks over harbor capped it. Bursts mirroring heart's boom. Bed that night, tangled limbs, his murmur. Husband. Holy shit. Laughter bubbled. Fears hushed. Italy unfurled idyllic. Positano paths lemon-scented. Gelato melting on tongues. Villa balcony stars confetti. Hikes hand-linked, pasta feasts, lazy fucks. Tender, not torrid, bodies mapping home. But calls home pierced. Mom's gush. His dad's gruff congrats. Silence from abuela. Back stateside. Newlywed glow dimmed by discord. Alex withdrew, editing wedding footage obsessively, muting laughter tracks. What's eating you? I pressed over takeout. Ma's spiraling. Priest visits. Prayers for guidance. Jaw tight. Feels like rejection. Heartache twin, his pain mine but roots deep, unuprootable. July heatwave amplified. My shop hit milestone. Pop-up in Chelsea Market. Queer crowd thrumming. Alex tagged along. Proud but distant. Phone glued. Snooped once. Texts to a mentor-producer. Late brainstorms. Deja vu daggered. Confront. Transparency, remember? Kitchen showdown, dishes clattering. It's networking. Deflection dissolved to confession. Coffees with Riley. Platonic. Swear. Old set pal. Advice on pilots. Fury flared. History's haunt, Alex. Why risk? Inequality, he lashed. You thrive, I flounder, need allies. Tears tracked. Ally or temptation? Storm broke. Therapy emergency. Lena mediating. Patterns persist till interrupted. Homework. No contact lists. Joint career coaching. He complied. Riley ghosted. But trust's thread frayed finer. August pivot. Co-writing his next project. A series on queer marriages, vows and voids. Brainstorms birthed gold. Episodes mirroring our mess, betrayals, redemptions, radical forgiveness. Pitches landed buzz. A streamer bite tentative. Fall harvest. Upstate cabin permanent. Weekends escaping city's claw. Indie romped orchards. Us apple picking, cider fermenting dreams. One eve, bonfire crackle. He unloaded. Abuela softened. Sent a card. Blessings. Crack in armor, light seeping. But climax crescendoed November. His mom's ultimatum. Relayed tearful. Choose. Mijo. Us or this life. Family rift. Thanksgiving canceled. LA trip aborted. Alex shattered. Pacing. Can't lose them. My plea. Don't lose us. Ultimatum echoed his past coldness. Focus on recovery, twisting knife. Fight for both, I urged. Humanity's bridge, not binary. He flew solo, confrontation raw. Dinner table truths, tears and tirades. Return, exhausted, but victorious-ish. Dad mediated. Love's not negotiable. Mom's concession. Try understanding. Progress incremental, wounds salved slow. December dusted snow, holidays hybrid. Seattle first, my folks tree twinkling, then virtual LA toast. Awkward, but attended. New Year's Eve, rooftop redux. Champagne pops, his arm anchor. To us, unbreakable yet bending. Year 4 closed resilient, love's narrative humanistic. No tidy bows, but threads woven tight. Betrayal's backstory, not endnote. We endured, evolved. Gay American Odyssey, hearts scarred, soul soaring. 2026 dawned with cautious optimism, the kind earned through frostbite winters. Our series greenlit, vows unraveled, shooting slated spring, us as showrunners hyphenate. Creative equals, no hierarchies to breed resentment. Casting calls buzzed, queer actors headlining, storylines sourced from lived scars, cancer arcs, family fractures, fidelity fumbles. Alex thrived directing, Voice authoritative sans ego. I consulted designs, sets pulsing my aesthetic, raw brick, rainbow accents subtle. But success spotlights shadows. Premiere buzz drew press. Out profile. Us on cover. Interlocked hands. Skyline backdrop. Headline Love's Real. From breakup to breakthrough. Intimate excerpts. My diagnosis, his flight, reunion's grit. Reads cathartic, but invasive. Trolls spewing slurs online. Tragic gaze barbs. Alex armored up. Haters fuel us. I nodded, but notifications silenced. Peace purchased. Personal tides turned gentler. My 2-year scan. Pristine. Doc high-fiving. You're the poster child. Tattoo addendum. Semicolon. Life's pause not period. Alex marked it with a weekend getaway. Montauk dunes. Waves whispering absolutions. Boardwalks strolled. Lobster rolls devoured. Nights telescope gazing. Stars like our story. Endless edits. Family fronts fortified. His folks visited Spring, Echo Park to Brooklyn Bridge. Mom's eyes widening at Pride Prep banners. Dinner at ours. Vegan tacos, my twist. Conversations tiptoeing to triumphs. Proud. Dad grunted over seconds. Hand on Alex's shoulder. Abuela's card evolved. Video call. Rosary paused. You look happy, Mijo. And Ethan. Strong. Tears collective, bridge beam strengthening. June wedding anniversary. Vow renewal micro, fire escape. Just us and Indy. Rings re-exchanged under moon. Still yes. He breathed, lips sealing packed. Laughter when Indy snatched the band. Chase ensuing, pure, unscripted joy. Shoot wrapped summer sweat. Dailies dazzling. Rap party. Cast croons karaoke. Marco belting It's Raining Men remix. But post-production pitfalls. Network notes neutering queer edges. Tone down the betrayals? Alex fumed. I mediated. Subvert soft. Slip truth in cracks. Compromise carved. Final cut fierce. Fall premiere. Tribeca again. Crowd electric. Standing ovation thundering. Post-screening panel. Us tag teaming. This is humanism. Love's mess. Redemption's work. Q&A vulnerability. A fan's Your Story saved me, gut punch good. After party intimate, toasts to tenacity. But life's plot twists unbidden. December, my cough returned. Faint echo, dismissed as winter hack. Holidays blissed. Seattle feast, LA layover. Full family now, tables bridged. New Year's, upstate snowshoeing. Resolutions whispered. Grow together, not apart. January check. Doc's frown, biopsy ordered. Wait weeks agony. Alex's hand vice grip. Therapy doubled. Results. Not recurrence, scar tissue flare, treatable tweak. Relief tsunami, but lesson etched. Vigilance eternal. Fear's companion, not conqueror. Post-scare, we pivoted profound. Charity launch. Anchor fund. Survivor grants for queer artists. My merch profit seeded. Alex's platform amplified. First gala. Rainbow runway. Speeches soaring. A kid approached. Sketchpad clutched. Your story. I'm coming out tomorrow. Hugs exchanged. Ripples infinite. Year 5 dawned anchored. Daily graces. Morning runs with Indy. Coffee critiques of scripts. Fire escape sunsets scripting tomorrows. Conflicts. Lingered low. Jealous jabs quelled quick. Ambitions aligned. Betrayals. Backstory badges. Fueling empathy. Humanistic close. No grand tragedy, no flawless fairy tale. Just us, flawed architects of forever. In America's vast canvas, Brooklyn grit to Pacific dreams, we painted love unapologetic. Dramatic falls, suspenseful rises, emotional depths plumbed, romantic sparks eternal. Third year's fracture? Catalyst, not curse. We rose, not unbroken, but beautifully mended, gay hearts beating resilient rhythm. Epilogue whisper. 5 years on, upstate cabin hours, Indy gray-muzzled, script stacking. Vows renewed annual, rings worn thin as trust grown thick. Life's real roles, hooks, climaxes, fades but are cut. Director's favorite. Love wins, messy magnificent.